This video is brought to you by Captivating History. For a country as big and as populated as China, considerable obscurity and mystique surround the land. Their resistance to, and in some ways revolt against, Western ideologies and lifestyles has enabled them to conserve their traditions in the post-colonial world. Their perseverance against external forces is commendable, whether it be for better or worse. Not wanting approval, lacking communication with the outer world, and adherence to their culture has made them an exciting outlier for the West and the East. Like many Eastern cultures, Chinese mythology has been passed down orally from generation to generation and recorded in some sort of literary form. Since this huge land encompasses a huge population, the myths are varied and distinct. Many stories have two versions, one with a rather historical outlook and another that forgoes it completely for a fable. At this point, it is important to note that the word God may have different connotations than the Abrahamic God. In Chinese, the reading for the word God is closer to spirit or soul than to an omnipotent being. Just by comparison, other ancient belief systems like Hinduism or Greco-Roman mythology treat their gods as complex figures of virtuous and erroneous attributes. Chinese mythology is no different. Without an integrated understanding of the mythology, the Chinese lore is vast in width and breadth, making it hard to follow a linear historical path while studying it. But here, there were also spirits known as Kuei Shen that inhabited trees, streams, and other natural habitats. Then there were Gui, who had died and passed on, but whose bodies were not respected after death, leading to an eviler disposition. All the deities had specific purposes and played a crucial role in the functioning of the universe. Fantastic beings, enchanting magic, and exotic locations are staples. More than 200 gods and goddesses were worshipped throughout the ancient land. They ranged from creation deities to legendary figures. Despite changing over the millennia, Chinese deities can be categorized into four overlapping types: mythological beings, natural spirits, legendary historical humans elevated to the realm of the gods, deities tied to the three major religions of the land: Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. Since the Chinese culture is so expansive, with hundreds of gods and goddesses for different people, communities, and belief systems, we cannot discuss them all. So, we will only focus on 10 of the most important ones. Let's dive in. Pangu. Before the birth of the cosmos, chaos prevailed under cover of absolute darkness. A formless, primordial void clamped the universe. For around 18,000 years, the chaos arbitrarily composed itself in the form of an egg. The egg contained the essence of the entire cosmos. According to lore, yin and yang battled against each other in the strict confines of the egg, finally arriving at harmony. This balance brought about a supreme being, Pangu. Pangu symbolized Tai Chi, the Chinese concept of infinite potential in the metaphorical fetal position, the precursor to duality. Trapped in the shell, he rubbed and moved against the shell and broke the egg with an axe. This act set everything free, releasing the universe from its caged shell and establishing planetary bodies. The two halves formed the earth and the heavens. Pangu burst forth from the shell. His name, meaning ancient coil, refers to his age and the fact that he was curled up in the egg due to lack of space. The Scottish missionary James Legge, who lived in Hong Kong, described Pangu in the local culture. Pangu is spoken of by the common people as the first man who opened up heaven and earth. It has been said to me in pidgin English that he is all the same your Adam, and in Taoist picture books I have seen him as a shaggy, dwarfish Hercules, developing from a bear rather than an ape, and wielding an immense hammer and chisel with which he is breaking the chaotic rocks. The first written record of Pangu's myth comes from the Three Kingdoms period that approximately lasted from 220 to 280 CE. Many creation myths predate the myth of Pangu. Fuxi. The original male ancestor and the first hero of Chinese mythology, Fuxi, is the inventor of a writing system, music, the domestication of animals, fishing, hunting, and cooking. With these and other inventions, he brought civilization to the wild, barren earth. Bangu the ancient Chinese historian, explains, "In the beginning, there was as yet no moral or social order. When men were hungry, they searched for food. When satisfied, they threw away the remnants. They devoured their food hide and hair, drank the blood, and clad themselves in skins and rushes. Then came Fuxi, and looked upward and contemplated the images in the heavens, and looked downward and contemplated the occurrences on earth. He laid down the laws of humanity." One of the most powerful gods, he is often depicted having the upper body of a human with the lower body of a snake. Born to the goddess Wazhu, Fuxi married his sister, Nuwa, and according to one myth, the two were responsible for the birth of humanity. Nuwa. The sister and wife of Fuxi, Nuwa is often called the mother goddess of Chinese mythology due to her role in establishing human life on Earth. As the purveyor of vitality and health, Nuwa was the female figure for women to look up to. Even today, women worship and pray to her in matters of childbirth, fertility, and sensuality. The mother of all humans is usually portrayed in the same manner as her husband, although some images depict the two as having a human face attached to the body of a snake. In one myth, she and Fuxi are credited with the genesis of human life through marriage. In another, Nuwa goes for a walk. She is overcome by a spell of despair and starts to sculpt figures from clay. Starting small and working her way up to making an image of herself, she gave life to animals and people. She is also known for undoing a calamity that descended from the heavens onto earth. Wu Feng Shangdi. Shangdi is the Chinese term for highest deity and is probably the closest translation to the definition of a universal deity as found in the Abrahamic religions. However, in theological discourse, the term is used in widely different ways. The most common usage of the term comes from Taoism. In Taoism, the source, the path, or the way known as the Tao serves as a guiding light to humanity. In theistic forms of Taoism, Wu Feng Shangdi refers to the 5 emperors who are considered the physical manifestations of Tian, the chief heavenly entity in ancient Chinese philosophy. The 5 manifestations are represented with 5 colors. According to different accounts, each color symbolizes one of the 5 phases of eternal creation, the 5 sacred mountains of China, and more. The deities are known as the 5 forms of the God of Heaven, 5 heavenly deities, 5 olden lords, and 5 colors deities, to name a few. Individually, they can be understood as HUANGDI, the yellow deity of the north; CANGDI, the blue-green deity of the eastern peak; HUANGDI, the black deity of the northern peak; DEITY, the red deity of the southern peak; and BAIDI, the white deity of the western peak. OUTLIER, or the Jade Emperor. One of the most popular figures in Chinese tradition is the Jade Emperor. He is the assistant of one of the 3 divine teachers that form the Taoist Trinity. Often considered the ruler of heaven, the leadership traits of the first emperor of China are the stuff of legends. Portrayed as a lithe, middle-aged sage who wears flowing robes and sits on a throne, his appearance has constituted the stereotype of an ideal emperor for a long time. His ideas and guidance light the way for all emperors. Some myths declare that the Jade Emperor was born with the initial expulsion of Pangu from the egg, but according to most myths, the emperor was a mere mortal who was elevated to the ranks of the gods once he achieved enlightenment. The Jade Emperor appears in many folktales of the Chinese and is said to appear around the Chinese New Year and judge people according to their deeds. Zhiwangmu. The Queen Mother of the West, Zhiwangmu, is said to be the wife of the Jade Emperor according to some myths. She is often associated with Taoism, even though the earliest mentions of her in historical inscriptions predates Taoism. She oversees the lifespan of human beings and decides on the occurrences of major disasters. She had several children with her husband, and some of them served as important religious figures. The powerful, high-ranking goddess often serves as a mythological feminist icon due to her strength, courage, and raw character. She symbolizes prosperity, bliss, and longevity, and she tended to the peaches of immortality in the palace gardens. And who defiled her garden of immortality? But perhaps the most popular character in Chinese mythology? Sun Wukong. One of the four great classical novels of Chinese literature is The Journey to the West, the origin story of the Monkey King, Sun Wukong. A legendary figure of the Chinese literary canon, and certainly the most popular one in the West, Sun Wukong is even the subject of a video game. The trickster god can transform himself into 72 animals, control natural forces like wind, water, and fire, and possesses amazing strength. Today, Sun Wukong is among the most well-known Chinese characters in the world. Born from a stone, his rebellion against the heavens lands him in a mountain, where he was imprisoned by none other than the Buddha. After a few centuries, he became the disciple of a monk named Tang Sangzang and followed him to India to look for ancient texts. With the monk's teachings, Sun Wukong finally attains nirvana and curtails his streak of greed, envy, and anger. Hu Yi and Chang'e. The story of Hu Yi and Chang'e is one of the most popular stories in Chinese folklore. When the nights were elusive, the days were hot as coal, and 10 suns lit the earth. The archer, Hu Yi, struck down 9 suns to comfort the planet and its inhabitants. The Jade Emperor was delighted, and Ziwangmu gave him an elixir of immortality as a reward. He was to return to the emperor's palace as a deity, but he could not decide how to leave his wife. Before he could revel in the magnificence of the drink, his wife, Chang'e, stole it. She drank it, turned immortal, and fled to the moon. The romantic Hu Yi weathered the harsh trial of life and, by embracing humility, began to fall in love once again. He started leaving treats outside to show affection and love to his estranged wife, the moon goddess. People continued the tradition to this day. The Dragon King. As the oldest symbol of a deity in China, images of the dragon date back to as far as 5000 BCE. Long Wang, the Dragon King, is the Chinese god who manipulates weather, dragons, and sea monsters. An embodiment of Yang, the Dragon King represents good fortune. His 4 brothers are his subordinates and supervise the waters, one per cardinal direction. The 5 dragons did not need to communicate verbally and could easily exchange information telepathically. In turn, the Dragon King answered to the Jade Emperor. The wise and just deity was responsible for rain. As a sea creature, he is quite popular in coastal areas, where he serves as the patron saint for fishermen, sailors, and farmers. He is especially remembered in times of famine and drought. The 8 Immortals. The 8 Immortals are a legendary group of deities that fight against evil and work to uphold the values of justice. Settled on 5 islands in the Bohai Sea, they are said to be the only ones who can move around the shallow body of water. The 8 Immortals are precursors to the modern idea of superheroes. In fact, this group has served as an inspiration for many pop culture phenomena. The 8 Immortals are Cao Guojiu, Hang Jiangzi, He Jianggu, Lan Kaihe, Li Tieguai, Lu Dongbin, Zhang Guolao, Zhang Liqian. Throughout history, China has been able to effectively withstand and repel external forces. Even when external influences found their way into Chinese society, like Buddhism, they would be integrated into existing structures in unique ways. Eventually, the people would revert to their own heritage, their folklores, their rituals, their ceremonies, their usual conventional routines. Because China has not experienced exposure like other major countries, their mythology remains shrouded in mystery and is even more intriguing for it. We hope you enjoyed this video on Top 10 Chinese Gods and Goddesses. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.